Hi, everyone. Delfino Aguilar here, SVP of Wholesale at Kind Lending. This is our very first edition of Del Talk, where we have different guests on the line with us today to talk a little bit about mortgage, talk about life, talk about a lot of different things. We have a very special guest, our first one. Very proud to have Mr. Glenn Stearns on the line with us today, founder and CEO of Kind Lending, and a lot of other things. Right, Glenn? How are you?
Hey, how you doing, Delfino? I
I'm
am
excited.
proud to be the first guest on Del Talk. Thank you for that.
No problem. No problem. Hopefully, we bring a lot of great content for everyone here. So
Right.
Glenn, so I know a lot of people know who you are. A lot of people are hearing a lot about Kind Lending, a lot of different things. I know that you first started recently last year with the show called Undercover Billionaire, right? And idea came out of that, right? And we're going to talk a little bit about Kind Lending too. But talk to us. So not everybody might know about the show. So can you talk to us a little bit about that first?
Sure. It's funny because, years ago, I did a show with my wife, kind of a reality show, and it came about from a coworker who threw our names into the hat, and they caught us. And from that, people had called me for the last 10 years saying, "Hey, do you want to do another one? Want to do another one?"
Yeah.
And I'd always turn them down. I said, I'll do a show. And that is if you strip me of everything, I bet I could rebuild a business from nothing with no contacts. And so I would say that. I would always throw that back at them. And I got a call back and they said, "Hey, if you're real serious, then Discovery would like to put your money where your mouth is." So I went and they took me out of kind of my normal life and brought me into Erie, Pennsylvania, where I'd never been, and gave me $100, a cell phone with a different name. I was then now called Glenn Bryant, and asked me to start over. And for 90 days, I had to try to build a business that would be worth $1 million. That was the bet. And so, it was actually, when I did it, I had so many of my friends that were like, "Why in the world do you want to do this, Glenn?
Yeah.
It doesn't, what upside is there to this whole thing?" And really it wasn't about, I think really it's for my kids, like I wanted my kids and my family to see that when you get a little older, that you don't just give up, that when your back's against the wall, you don't, just decide to throw in the towel. That's when you fight harder. And so I thought this is a great way to document that. So anyway, so I went in the town, I started, trying to build a business, but I only had $100. So it was kind of tough to get started and going. And halfway through, I realized that it was a mistake. I probably shouldn't have done this. I'm going to fail in front of the world. And anyway, long way of saying that I had a wonderful time doing it. It worked out better than I ever could have imagined. And so I now have a business in Erie called Underdog Barbecue.
Nice.
And so we are. Matter of fact, I'm here right now. So
okay, good. Yeah, that's a great story. And so with that, you learned a lot, right, throughout the process. Out of that came out a thought of Kind Lending, right? And what you're trying to do and your vision that came out of that. So with Kind Lending, there's a lot of people that want to know more about it. So talk to us a little bit about your vision for Kind Lending, and has it changed over the last 90 days at all?
Yeah. Well, so again, I think a lot of people know that I sold my mortgage business about 5-6 years ago. And so I was kind of in this limbo phase, but I couldn't go out and recreate a mortgage company because I was still in a non-compete. So when I did the show and I was able to build people around me to make this company, which became a barbecue restaurant, it really lit the fire back in me, because it was so fun to put people together and say, "Let's go together and charge this hill and let's try to make something fantastic." And so I did get the bug from the show. And at the same time, my old company went through a restructuring, things happened, and it relieved me of any obligation. So I was allowed to compete again. So it was perfect timing, because I just did it on the show and I realized I would like to do this in real life again. I want to go out and create something, but I want to do it differently. And I'd love to get people, like-minded people, that believe that it can be done in a different way, right? And what I mean by that is, I think that the business is already hard enough on us all inside, right? We all talk about the customer. We've got to treat the customer great and all those things. That's like a given. But what about the people that are working there, slaving away, 12 hours a day? And we want those people to feel appreciated. And we want to kind of create a movement. And so that's where kind lending came about. And literally the term kind, because just the world, I think, is in a place that it could use more kindness. And we want to attract people that, agree that money is it's important, but it's not the end all, right? Like, we have a currency much greater than money, and that's happiness. And so that's the focus that we have. I have a kindness officer, right? That happens to be, as they say, sleeping with the boss, because she's my wife. And and the joke on the side was, she used to be the happiness officer until she was going around calling herself the chief hoe. We didn't like that, did we, Delfino? So we changed it to kindness officer. But that's part of the fun of this company, right? Is let's not take ourselves that serious. We already got enough for the world to think about. Let's have some fun, some laughs, and it's been a wonderful start. We're just getting ourselves out there right now. We've been hiring, our first AEs, and it's not going to be this smooth ride. It takes time, as we all know, when you start out with a new software. But we're gaining momentum, and it's growing, and we're doing a lot and having fun.
Yeah. No, well, I can speak, I'm in it with you, right? We're in it. I've been here for 70 days or so, and we've so much has happened in 70 days since we've been here. Like you said, we've hired account executives. I think for me, being part of Kind Lending has been one of the highlights for my career, because we're doing so many things differently. We're getting feedback from account executives, from underwriters, on things that they've done at previous employers, and we're trying to get everybody's great ideas together to collaborate to come up with a different process.
Yeah.
And everybody's voice is heard. And I think that's different. It was different for me. You and I had a conversation about this maybe like 2.5 weeks ago. We're making decisions quickly with results. And I think that's been great. And we're hiring people of all kind. Yeah. So Glenn, like, when people are applying for the job, and we're looking at people for different positions, what kind of person do you think would fit well here at Kind Lending? And what do we really look for? Because people are our competitive advantage. You spoke to that earlier, right?
Yeah.
People that want to have fun in that environment. So who do we really look for here at Kind?
Well, over my 30 years of experience, there's been all different kinds of people that we've hired in the past. And what I found is, sometimes you have these people that are so good at what they do, but they still spread this toxic message, and that is the kind of person we're not. We call those the onboard terrorist, right? They're really good, but then they can destroy your business. We want people that are really good, but that are grateful, happy to be there, have an attitude that says, hey, I am, at a company that is not just a 9-to-5 job, but it's part of my life. And that's important, and because we want to invest in each one of the people that make up our team, and we hope they invest back in us, right? And that's what we're looking for. It's a two-way street. And so, this place it may not be for everybody. Okay. And that's okay. And if you can't laugh at yourself, if you can't have fun, if you can't, and you've been there, Delfino, when we say, look, the first one to tell us our mistakes and the first one to talk about what we're doing wrong gets rewarded. We're not here to stifle that message. We need to know what's going wrong, because in every company, there's something that's not exactly right. And you got some people that, I guess, they feel that, if you bring up a problem, it reflects on management. In our case, you bring up a problem, it reflects on our whole company, that we want to do it right. And management, all of us realize that we want to thank that person who's bringing up something, because all we got to do is fix it as fast as we can. That's what we want to do, and so we're trying to listen, we're trying to pay attention, and we're trying to, make something that's going to be much better for our broker community, our client, and everybody, and our employee all at the same time. So where they feel that we're we're doing the best we can and we're actually listening.
Yeah. And I think that's what, as I talk to specifically account executives, I think that's what the AEs and account executive wants to know. They have like a seat at the table right now. We're having a meeting every week to ask our account executives for feedback and what we can do better, what we can tweak. And so I think that really is key, Glenn, as you know, trying to give everybody that voice, right?
Right. And, I think it's important. I'm sorry. It's important that they realize we hear them, and you got to go back and you got to process what's going on and how do we get the answer hopefully they're looking for, or how do we get an answer that says this is why this has to be done that way, right?
Yeah.
What I understand, what's happened in the past, it's certain companies and places is it falls into a big black hole, right? And we want to at least try to get some feedback as fast as we can. Again, we're new and we're right now we're growing at a pace that, there's a lot going on. And so we've got to get them, their message back as quickly as we can.
Yeah, definitely. And so, Glenn, I think the message, for everyone is at Kind Lending, we're growing quickly, right? We're looking for more and more talent every day. It is tough out there, right? It is, we're based in a time where everybody's busy, record volume for everyone. And we're up against recruiting from different types for different positions too, and right. What would you say about the environment right now when it comes to the recruiting of different talent in different companies and just in general? I mean, this is a little bit of a different market, right?
Yeah. Well, we had a great conversation today with our underwriters, and what we were explaining to them is how much we appreciate them being the kind of being in that front line and being the ones, especially being brand new with a new software, give us the feedback. But we also want them to know that if there is, I want them to be making as much money as they can. I want them to be bonusing out. And if that's not fast enough, what can we do to fix it? Right? What do we do? But there's again, I said this earlier, but there's two kinds of currency, right? There's this happiness currency or barometer that really is important. And a lot of people, that's something I think that a lot of people give a lot of weight to, but it's not talked about that much, and there's only so much. You can make all the money in the world, but if you're heavy and you're not happy, then you're going to have an issue, and so, you've got to be able to weigh and balance both of those out well. So, we're out telling people, if people are listening to this that want a change in their life, that want to try to find something that where they're going to be heard, where their opinion matters, and where they're going to be happy. I hope to be able to laugh and be able to also celebrate as we keep moving up the hey, where can you go when you're number 423, 425 lenders? Every day we're moving up the ladder, and
we are.
We're celebrating, and so we keep reaching new and newer heights. And again, where we left last time, we were number one years ago, at least when I had left, and it's a fun game, okay, and that's what it is, right? Because you want to compete against people and make yourself better and make them better, and I don't think it's a kill or be killed type of an attitude. It's actually just, let's go up next door to each other and let's do the best we can, and we'll outperform them and they'll outperform us, and we'll get a little better and they'll get a little better, and we'll keep doing that. And it's fun, and I really respect and value our competition. I think that most of them are good people, and there's enough room for all of us, but at the same time it's nice to try to do a little better.
Yes, it is. I agree. Our competition is great. A lot of respect from, but we're planning to grow quickly, right? Even with, we were talking about it earlier about our growth mode here at Kind Lending with just 4 AEs. We just hired our 4th AE on July 20th. Our pipeline's getting very close to 100 million right now with just 4 account executives. 3 AEs have locked over 15 million, and they're not even here for a full month. So we're growing quickly, right? And we haven't fully launched yet, and that's coming too, right? But what are your big plans, long-term plans for Kind Lending, Glenn? And I'll end it with that question, and just like, what do you see it long-term with Kind Lending?
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, I hope that we're able to create a movement, something that gets other people to realize that this stiff, I'll call it boring, flat business that we've been in the past doesn't have to be that way. You know, when you think of money, you know, everybody gets all serious, right? And yet, why can't we enjoy, and why can't the customer feel better? Because, well, the one thing that's certain is that buying a home is one of the most, you know, frustrating and stressful times in somebody's life. And that gets passed all the way up the food chain. And if you're working with professionals and people that know what they're doing, and they can spread joy, and they can have something that's going to help them calm down, you'll create an experience that's going to be much better for the individual. So I'm hoping that what we do in our company is to be able to show people that there's a different way of doing this business. And if we can then take that and take our technology, we've spent a lot of time on this technology, getting something that's different, that's going to be much more efficient, that's going to allow people to just stay at their home and do, you know, their business and communicate a lot easier and better. And as we continue to dial up this technology, that I hope then again, it moves everybody up. It makes everybody get a little bit sharper. And then all of a sudden we're going to look back. Yeah, I'll tell you who did a great job was UWM in getting more efficient, right, in their work. And when they did that, it changed a lot of people and how they had to step up their game. Well, we're doing the same thing. We're coming now, and we're going to make everybody else have to step their game up. And the difference is you're either going to be a leader or a follower. We intend the whole time we want to be a leader. And we're going to do this right, and we're going to get everybody else's attention. And I think we're going to increase this business, and we're going to make the mortgage banking a much more professional place to be in, because we're all going to step our game up, all of us. And I hope that we're going to be the ones that lead the whole time.
Yeah, I know we will. And this is great, Glenn. And, you know, I know you're a really busy guy. You have a lot of people that are very excited about Kind Lending. We have 3 more account executives studying in August. We have 4 more in September. A lot of things are coming. If you're, thank you, first of all, for being the first guest again of Del Talk.
Hey,
you know,
Del.
we're, so thank you very much. The first one. So we appreciate it. We're going to have more guests on there, but we wanted to make sure we got you as the first one. A lot of great information here, Glenn, for AEs out there, brokers, loan officers, underwriters, funders, we're hiring. We need you. We need as many of you as possible. Come be a part of what Glenn is building here at Kind Lending. We're very excited to hire more and more people as we grow. So Glenn, thank you very much. I know you're a busy guy, so really appreciate your time.
Thank you, Delfino. I've enjoyed it. It's an honor to be your first guest, and I look forward to much more of the Del Talk.
All right. Thanks a lot, Glenn.
Right.
Thank you, everyone. Talk to you later.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.